Hello and welcome to week 6, which is the final border for the cowl. As usual, you will need your crochet hook, some sewing up needles, scissors and the yarn. For this one you'll need petrol, you'll need the dark grey and you'll need some of the cream or off-white in whichever range you've picked. So we're looking at how to join these on. I've got some good hints and tips about spacing them out and how to get them on evenly, and then how to actually work that final border, and then you'll be finished. So let's get cracking.
Okay, so today we're looking at the outer border, and I've done a little bit of prep here to give you some tips really. You have now done the main section in the middle, you've done this inner border, and then you will have made all your squares for the outer border. You will be blocking this later, so don't worry if it seems a little bit ripply at the minute. That will sort itself out when you get round to blocking it. Now we recommend on the instructions that you join the squares in strips. The best way to work this out is to lay it on the floor, get all your squares, and then take the picture, so you'll have an image something like this, and literally lay it out so that it looks like that with all the pieces laid down the side. Then the next point is to join them, probably we recommend in strips of 8, so you would join from there to here in a strip, and then from here to here in a separate strip, and then do the same for the other 2 sides. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. So what I did earlier was join some of these into strips. So that was a strip, and then this at the side was a strip. So you can see there how those 2 pieces are joined. Now the squares are not exact stitch for stitch for the number of stitches across here to the number of stitches across there. So in order that you, when you're whip stitching at the back, so literally fastening them together, just a little over stitch at the back, we're recommending that you pin them in some way. So I've got some movable stitch markers here. That is the centre one. So I've got 4 squares running from here to here, and the first one I have pinned to there, and the 4th one I have pinned in the corner. And then I've taken the corner one and I've gone 4 down. So starting from the corner here, I've gone to this centre point and I have pinned it, and then I pinned it here and here as well. And just for demonstration purposes, I've now whip stitched part way down there and part way down here. So they're all joined together. So that's sort of the first 2 stages. First one is to join these correctly into strips and then sew them into a corner, and I've worked from the corner towards the centre with those. Obviously you can do it a bit differently if you want to. You won't be able to whip stitch for stitch here. There are slightly less on the blanket inner border than there are for a square, so you'll just have to make that fit in as you go across, but it looks good when you've finished, and as I say, once you've blocked it, it will look fine. So those are actually steps 1 and 2 of your outer border, and then we'll be back in a moment. We'll start with step 3 and I'll show you how to do the finishing off. Okay, so this is step 3, which is the final border. Now, in order to make the border stitches fit evenly, you need to make approximately 16 stitches to each edge of a small square. You're going to have to space them evenly. So I'm going to start in the corner just to show you how we're starting. It's very much similar to how we've done it before, but we're going to start with the corner, and then we need to get 16 stitches to here, and then another 16 stitches across to here, and again that's what we're working with. And then when you've gone all the way round, you would be working 16s across here. That is to then make the next level of the border work correctly. So this is like a foundation row really to get you going. So I'm in a corner there, I'm going to pull the yarn through, and then we do a 1 chain, which isn't counted as a stitch, it's just like an anchoring stitch. And we're working double crochets, that's UK double crochets, so we're going in, pulling back through, round and through 2, a 1 chain for this corner, and another double crochet. Now every corner is going to be worked the same in that it will be a double crochet, a 1 chain and a double crochet in that corner space, and they're in addition to your 16 double crochet that we're then going to work down the side. So 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to do a quick count here. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we've got a couple of extra stitches. So I'm going to do 4 of the double crochet from there to here. Then I'm going to miss 1 and do a double crochet in the next one, because we're going to have to miss a couple of stitches to get the 16 that we need. With this being in the dark grey, I think you're going to need a fairly good light when you're working, because then to count them across is going to be the tricky bit. So I'll work to there. I'm going to miss another stitch and then work a little bit more. And then before I do any extras, I'm just going to do a little count. So I've got the 1 in the corner, and then I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So I'm already on 15. So my 16th one is going to go here, and then I'm going to jump across and pull this bit a bit tighter. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip a stitch, do another 4, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip another stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I need to get 4 into this end bit. So if I skip 1 and do 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it seems to work well, doing 4 stitches, then skip a stitch on the row below and do another 4. That seems to get us fairly evenly across. So I've got my other 4 there, and then I'm going to skip to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip a stitch and then do another 4, and I'm going to keep doing that. So sets of 4 with a skipped stitch all the way down the side seems to be working quite nicely, and it'll get you this slightly thicker border, and that's the foundation border for your next one. So we'll come back to it in a minute and we'll have a look at round 2. Okay. Right, so we're now going to start round 2 of the final border. So round 2 is done in petrol, and for this one you can start in any stitch you like. So in fact I'm going to start a little bit nearer the corner just so I can demo the corner for you as well, but start anywhere you want along the row you've just completed. Bring your yarn through, and then you do 2 chains, I think, for this one. Yeah. So, well, I'm going to do 1 chain actually for this one, because then we're going to start with a half treble. So I think a 1 chain will be better. So in, and I'm going to work in the same stitch, pull it through, and then through all 3. So round, in, back again, round, through all three. Oops, just need to set my hand up a little bit better. Didn't have the tension going properly then, and I prefer my yarn to be working from that angle. So there we go, that's better. There is a little bit of a debate on whether you should definitely sew the ends in afterwards or whether you work them in. So I'm going to show you how I work them in. I literally just hold the thread that you're not working with across the top of the stitches. I wrap, go into the hole, and then that bit ends up caught as you pull that back through, and it just saves you a little bit of time for sewing up and sewing all the ends in. Some people won't do it that way. They think it's not as neat and that you end up with a slightly thicker stitch there, but it's very much personal preference. On a blanket I do that, maybe on a garment somewhere I might not, but on something like this I don't see it being a problem at all. So I'll just get to a corner and I'll show you a corner. So again, this is in quite a dark colour, so make it easier for yourself and have a really good light. So I'm back at the corner here, and we're working that's my corner. So I've got a half treble and 3 chains and a half treble. All the way through. Right, and then we're on to the other side. So at this point I will cut that little tail off shortly because it just gets in the way. I actually find sometimes when the blanket's getting quite heavy, it does pay to sit up to a table. And I would certainly recommend when you're laying everything out to be sat somewhere where you can really clearly see what you've got and where it joins together. So you carry on like that, half trebles, 1 in every stitch, so all the 16 that you did before will have a half treble in, and the corners will have a half treble, a 3 chain and another half treble into your corner stitch. So again, you need to work that round, and then we'll be back shortly with round 3. Okay, so we're back with round 3 of the final border, and round 3 is worked in the same petrol colour as round 2, so don't fasten off at this point. And so you've gone all the way round and you're back to where the 2 pieces join. Join it with a slip stitch. So that 1 chain that we did at the beginning, you're about there, and you just pull it all the way through. Then we're doing 2 chains, and we are working half trebles again, 1 in each stitch around, and then 1 treble. Oh yeah, sorry, I've misread this. We're on a half treble in each stitch around. I don't like that, don't like how that's worked. So it's gone a little bit stretchy and not nice. We need neat. So I'm just going to do that one again. Never be frightened to sort of take something back a couple of stitches and neaten it off, because you'll be much happier at the end if you've done it neatly. So half trebles again. So we're doing a half treble in each stitch around, but the one difference with this is that when we get to the corner, we're going to do a treble and 3 chain and then another treble. So a full treble rather than a half treble, and it'll just give you a slightly pronounced corner. So it's half trebles again, right up to this point here, up to your last stitch. Then as you go in here, you want a treble, 3 chains and another treble, and complete that all the way round doing the same thing. So I'll let you crack on with that, and we will join you again shortly to do the next round. Okay. Okay, so we've done that row and fastened off, and round 4 is exactly the same as round 3, except you are using the grey. So if you get your dark grey out, join into any half treble of the row below, and then work 2 chains. So as before, I work 1 with the tail and 1 with the main yarn, and then we start working half trebles into, just pull this, it's getting a bit heavy now and it's developing a life of its own. So half trebles into each stitch, and as you can see I'm tucking the tail of the yarn in as I go along. So half trebles to the corner, and then a treble, 3 chains and a treble into your corner, and then half trebles all along the edges. So I'm going to complete a section of that, and then we'll show you round 5, which is just slightly different but is your final row, and then the blanket will be complete. So see you again in a moment. So this is round 5 of the final border, and it's the very, very last bit. So you now have your 4 extra rows here to do that edging, and for this round you need to start on the stitch just before the corner. So bring your yarn through and do a 1 chain. That doesn't count as a stitch. Then we're doing a double crochet into that same stitch. Now the corners are all done the same. You're going to do a double treble, then a double crochet, a 1 chain, a double crochet and a double treble all into this. So I'll just show you that one. So the double treble, that's a double wrap in, bring it back through, so you've got your 4 loops on your hook, round through 2, round and through 2, round and through 2. So that's your double treble. To make that pop out this way, we're going to do a double crochet. So make sure that they come that way. A 1 chain, another double crochet, and then another double treble. Like so, that's all into your corner, and then a double crochet into your next stitch, and again that makes that one pop out there. So you've got your 2 double trebles, 2 double crochet in the middle, and then you start your repeat that we've done before. So you've got a, oops, through a bit more yarn. You've got a double treble into your next stitch, and then a double crochet into the stitch after that, double treble, and a double crochet. And we're going to continue that all the way down the side till you get to a corner, and every corner will be worked like this one. So you'll have a double treble, a double crochet, a 1 chain, a double crochet and a double treble, all worked into your corners till you get back round here. You'll finish with a double treble here, and you'll slip stitch those together, and that will then complete your blanket. So good luck with that, and we hope you love the finished result. Thanks, bye.